Humanity is under attack. A lot of you that call yourselves liberals and progressives have been pre-programmed by mainstream media, by all the major comedy shows, by the news programs with distorted lies about what I've said. You know the corporate media lies to you about wars. You know they lie to you about health. You know they lie to you and sell you very anti-human agendas from the left and the right. They're corporatists, they're globalists, they're monopoly capitalists. They all came out in the WikiLeaks. Remember WikiLeaks, the good guys that exposed Bush and the Iraq War? The nonpartisan folks, they're saying what I'm saying. A planetary world government that's anti-human. And ask yourselves, why am I so demonized? Why am I so attacked? I'm reaching out to you, the prodigal sons and daughters out there who do matter. People that are already awake, they're important, but you're really important because it doesn't hurt me when you attack me. It hurts you when you spout lies about, I believe there's Martian space bases that humans are on. I never said that. And when you spout that, realize the mental illness that they've programmed you with. Or the gay frog thing. That's thousands of studies about the asexual nature or sterilization of the males wanting to have sex with males. And then David Hogg goes on C-SPAN and goes, so what? We need more gay people. See, it's not about gay people or not. It's about the chemical manipulation of the population. It's about realizing what's going on. That's only one small part of it. So what I'm saying here to you right now is this. Globalism is anti-human. Globalism is a vertical integration of society. And globalism wants to override minority populations, majority populations. It wants to override every culture. The Speaker of the House in Hungary gave a speech last week that I posted on Infowars.com that I translated and that Dan Lyman wrote an article about for newswars.com. And you should go to newswars.com and read it. His quotes about the dehumanization plan, the breakup of the family, the admitted takeover operation. That's what's happening, and it's in the Tavistock Institute documents. I'd read this stuff 25 years ago and didn't believe they'd ever actually try it. But they're doing it, ladies and gentlemen, and whether you make fun of this or not, it's the truth. Whether you feel like you're part of the establishment because you laugh at Stephen Colbert, having people on lying about me, it doesn't matter. You're still being conned. You're still being manipulated. And the reason they're so scared of InfoWars is we're raising the alarm. We understand what they're doing. We understand their program. Trump's got lots of problems. The globalists didn't want him in power because he came from the outside as his own person wanting to make himself the president, okay, and trying to cut out their power. Doesn't mean he's perfect. It's a lot bigger than Trump. But there are nationalist movements that are liberal and conservative all over the world about bringing power back to the people. So I'm a populist. And I support populist movements from Brazil to Catalan, Spain, from Greece to Reykjavik, Iceland, to what we see happening in areas of Africa and Asia. And it's a very exciting time to be alive. And this is the global battle. These big PR hype deals with 4 students out of 3,000 that they chose to give all this national attention to, and then have the schools, have the kids walk out and do all this. But if you try to walk out for pro-life or pro-gun, you get suspended. It's all synthetic. It's all manipulated. It's all controlled. It's all false. And we've built a civilization and we've built a world that was built about being pro-human, about being Renaissance. That's what the West left us as a legacy. And now the globalists, this corporate system, is overriding that legacy across the board with things that make us weak, that make us isolated, that make us alone. Civilization's not been perfect, but it was designed for people, and it was designed to make it a better, safer civilization. But modern liberalism is not liberal at all. It is social engineering masquerading as a social safety net as it takes control. And it comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. As a society, as a culture, as a world, we have to understand that we are being dehumanized, that people are getting more and more screen time, that the IQs are dropping, that our genetics are falling apart, that the 5G and 4G is rattling our DNA into pieces. Those are facts you can double check in 10 seconds. Type in 4G cancer, 5G cancer. You'll get LA Times, Associated Press, Reuters, Journal of Medicine, Journal of Nature. Please, it isn't about me getting made fun of when I talk about the gay frogs. I hit the barbed wire. I do this on purpose. I cover topics that I get attacked for, knowing that I'm going to cause a debate for the good of humanity and the good of my children. That's what real leaders do. It's not about winning a popularity contest up front. It's about winning it down the road, changing this culture and changing the civilization and changing the society. The globalists look down on us like we're little ants or amoebas in a petri dish. And they're the social engineers, they're the controllers. But if we pull back and see the big picture of the engineering, we can see how in the post-industrial world they're trying to set up, humans are basically being made obsolete. I'm going to do some in-depth scientific reports with their own documents, their own admissions in the next few weeks with the good old-fashioned blackboard and PowerPoints showing you the Tavistock Institute and just the whole trans movement. Where notice they first came out and used the term tranny. Then they say, oh, don't use that term. Now use trans. It has nothing to do with men wanting to be women or women wanting to be men. I'm a libertarian. It has nothing to do with that. I don't hate any of those people. That's used as the case point by the Eugenics Society in 46 that became the Transhumanist Society, where they want to have government manipulation for human augmentation, they're going to call it, but it's not that. Where once you accept men being women and women being men, then you can't have father, you can't have mother, as Canada saying don't say mother anymore, and they're taking the word father and mother out of national anthems, and they're saying don't use boy or girl on entrance exams because somebody else might not be one. That is discriminatory against people that are the original biological chromosomes of a male and a female. So then you can't even criticize all the new trans movements of brain chips and microchips and cyborgs and genetic chimeras that are coming out that government is now releasing into the open air, that is now being allowed to be openly set up and rolled out, where all of these new genetic chimeras and human splices and humanoids are going to supposedly have rights but are going to be released by corporations. So instead of like Blade Runner where there's replicants and they don't have rights, it's the opposite. It's going to be a ruling class of replicants over us. And I didn't get this from that movie. Philip K. Dick was just reading advanced science fiction and advanced predictive programming and advanced research going on at Berkeley back in the 60s and 70s, and it basically whacked him out. By the way, I actually know the secrets of Philip K. Dick, and I'm not allowed to reveal them or talk about them, but I was told by a Hollywood producer with connections to NASA, who's very high level, has produced a lot of top films, who for a while, let's just say, was very close to the PKD franchise, and told me about the last book he was going to write that got robbed out of the safe, called The Golden Owl, and there's a lot of other stuff I can't get into. And just he was being used for future predictive programming, and his daughters are the ones that need to come out and talk about this, because they're the ones that run the franchise. And if you want to know all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, let's just say I've been made privy to it. I'm going to leave it right there. I've already said too much. And when I talked about this privately with some folks, I got some calls 5 years ago about very high-level people, because I learned about this 10 years ago. And I'm just telling you, you need to understand that PKD books are a little bit more than what they meet the eye. I'm just going to stop right there. So I'm here in San Antonio, and I took my daughters and 5 of their friends down here to Six Flags, and a bunch of these girls go to public schools. They're from 15 to 10, and they were just talking about what's in the public schools, how they're telling them that a vote's coming up next year to remove he and she from the dictionary and the encyclopedia, and I looked it up and it was true, and just how they're being bombarded and brainwashed and told to do anti-gun walkouts, even in Dripping Springs, which is more conservative, and just just to hear all the stuff they're going through and how they're bombarded, because my daughters go to private school, but they're friends with girls in public school that they know from sports. It's just crazy to realize how much we're being bombarded, how much we're being manipulated. Because here's the secret: the globalists know that we tend to adapt, but not like the Marines say, to adapt, to overcome, and improvise. They know that we tend to adapt to go along with the oppression. We learn to get along with it. We learn to accept it. So if they're going to chemically hit us and biologically hit us and radiologically hit us, and cancer rates go up 3, 4, 5,000%, mutation rates go way up, and everything happens, then we just accept all the mutations and all the sterility and everything else is something new, cool, and trendy. Kind of like breast cancer on average, depending on the types, of about 3,000% in every Western country. Brazil didn't even have it until we brought glyphosates in. Then 20 years later, they're as high as we are almost. Just look at the numbers. Grows breast tumors, just glyphosate alone, Roundup, by the billions of tons used every year. It's just unbelievable how much our earth is permeated with it. They know that what happens is we become aware of that. And so again, they just have races for the cure, but never ask, why is breast cancer way up? Never ask, why don't you filter your water? It's a lot bigger than the gay frogs. That's just one little tiny thing they picked up on, is tabloid stuff to distract you from all the chemicals in the water and say no changes are happening. Don't worry about those breast tumors. Don't worry about all those other tumors. Don't worry about the bone cancer. Don't worry about the prostate cancer exploding. Don't worry about anything in the world. Don't ever worry about any of it. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. And then meanwhile, they have a race for the cure, but they never ask, how about a race for the cause? How about a race to stop it? How about a race to find out why it's exploding? Because we already won that race. We already know what's running off from all the farms and all the companies and all the yards right into the water supplies that go back to the lakes that we then put into our water treatment plants, and then we then drink out of our tap water. Think about LA. They drink toilet to tap. All the drugs, all the Prozac, all the illegal crap. Then they only filter for certain chemicals through the filtration system, and then you drink it, and it's filled with ultra massive amounts of it. But they don't want to debate about that. They want to just shout anyone down that discusses fluoride, even though Harvard admits it causes bone cancer and lowers IQ. So that's basically it for this live transmission on Periscope. I'll try to upload this to YouTube, because we don't have live streaming on YouTube on our Alex Jones channel. That's still frozen. I'm going to continue just to try to warn people. I've got 4 children. I care about your future. I care about mine. And I'm willing to be attacked and demonized. That's fine, to try to cause a debate. But maybe I'll have like a $100,000 challenge for somebody to prove that atrazine didn't make it the frogs gay. And then just have people on the street come and prove that that's, I can have all the studies using even that exact same term. And I mean, it's just if you can't even admit that, or that fluoride's giving you bone cancer and lowering your IQs, or that baby formula on average lowers kids' IQ more than 10 points. I mean, you wonder why people look so bad, why they're so dumb. It's because we've been put in an artificial environment. All people do is watch television all day, and people are just disassociated from reality. They're in a near dream state, and I'm saying we've got to break out of it. And those of us that are awake out of this, at least partially, only care about people, and then we get attacked for actually caring. That's all I'm saying. This is serious. All right, folks, Infowars.com, newswars.com. Go read what the Speaker of the Hungarian House said. It's totally on target. And I appreciate you all. God bless you. I appreciate the supporters. But look into what's going into the runoff. Look at what's in the well water. Find out for yourselves, please. All right, that's it. I'll be live today with Owen Schroyer, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, with the normal Sunday transmission. A lot of incredible videos on Infowars.com of the anti-gun march with zombie-like people in Austin chanting, "We have the power, we will ban the guns," which means they will ban the guns in the hands of the average person. More kids die every year, drowning in swimming pools than die in shootings, period. Way more. There's like 50-something kids die in mass shootings, thousands die in swimming pools. It's all just hyped up, ladies and gentlemen. And if you criticize people like David Hogg, they try to ban your channel, saying he's a child, you're bullying him, when he's cussing at people and calling me a piece of crap and all this other stuff. This is next level censorship, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very dangerous. All right, newswars.com. It's up to you guys. You want to wake up and stop this. You have the power. You have to take action. They're trying to slap you down so you're scared, so you think you'll be criticized. If you speak up, good. That's what happens to leaders. That's how you change the world. 1% of the country was abolitionists in 1800. By the 1860s, they banned it. They banned slavery. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Infowars.com. Tomorrow's news today.